Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Spiritual Scientist. I'm Victor Hamza. To get right to it, a very astounding Mandela Effect I discovered this morning. I was listening to Led Zeppelin on the way home, on the way to work. You know, I'm a big fan, always been. And since I discovered them in a young age. And I even used to be in a band and I sang, the songs. I did covers, so I know them very well. And strangely enough, because of quantum entanglement or whatever, they played it at work where I was working. And I was listening to Stairway to Heaven. Always loved that song, and it was relaxing to me. And then I was listening, and it just kind of faded out. So I said, maybe I just got distracted or something. So I went and played it from my phone because I have it, all their albums downloaded, every song, because I'm a big fan. And then I played the very ending to it because it sounded different to me. And the end now fades out where he says, and she's buying the stairway to heaven. The very end, the heaven is now, it's like you could barely hear it, so it's imperceptible. So it's really, to me, another mind-blowing effect. And I just wanted to play it for you so you could hear what I'm talking about. And if my friends who are out there, I give you permission to latch on to this video, and you could edit it and put some residual if you could find it. I'm sure there's a ton out there because this is just happening now. This one to me is really mind-blowing, and I wasn't trying to do Mandela effects. I'm trying to talk about other things, but it's hard for me not to talk about it. So, playing Led Zeppelin is like something I love to do. Big Led Zeppelin fan. So I'm just going to play you the very end. Okay. So it's like, 20 seconds left in the song right about now.
And she's buying a stairway to heaven.
I could barely hear him say heaven anymore. So it's just, it was always, and she's buying the stairway to heaven. It wasn't to heaven. It was gone. You can't even hear the last syllable of it. You can't hear the last part of it. So it's very disconcerting. So I thought I'd make a video about that. The other thing that I talk about is I thought I'd talk about what another theory that I came up with to maybe explain what's going on with the Mandela Effect. For those of you who are really searching for an answer, and I have another theory that I'll get into, like I said, after the next full moon with the blood moon and all that. So I'm going to wait till after that, and if I feel compulsed to do it, I'll do it. But this theory about the Mandela Effect makes total sense. You just have to take one, it's a one step. So you take one step, you believe one thing, and then the rest makes sense. So let's say we're in a holographic universe, which scientists say that we are. Then if we're in a holographic universe, and we're like a hologram, let's say we're like in a simulated, when I say simulation, what I mean to say is that we're like in a matrix-like area where we have limited computational amount. So we're basically, let's say, in this type of matrix situation. When you have that going on, and you have CERN, knocking together particles, and those are all now they're calculated out, and now they're only looking at basically 1%. But the more, what I was thinking about, the more computational events we have happening with quantum computers and with AI, the more that's using up our, let's say, our bandwidth. What happens is, and let's say that is, we're in some kind of in a traditional computer, if we were in a, and I could say this, like, let's say we're not in a simulation. Let's say we're in a regular, reality, but it's based on a holographic matrix. If in a localized area, if we have enough computation going on, it could drain reality's natural resources for higher computational values. And that would lead it to do something like compression. So basically, I'll put it in layman's terms. If we're in a, let's say we're in a quantum type computer based reality, right? Now you're using bandwidth up. The more bandwidth that you're using with AI and quantum computers, the less resources you have for all the 7.5 billion people that are doing things and everything else. So when you have less bandwidth, what would happen is you'd have to do maybe a compression on the nature of reality itself. So what you do is you do, like with a computer, you do a compressed file. Now, if you have a compressed file, what happens is you overwrite some files, so you're rewriting them and putting them in a smaller area. You're also deleting some files. So if we look at songs, that would mean that the ends of songs are being somewhat deleted. These are things that are noticeables for us. We're not noticing everything. We're noticing some, name changes and things like that when it's being rewritten incorrectly, which makes total sense. So if we're noticing the rewrites because it's being compressed, that would mean that we're basically taking up more bandwidth with what we're doing for AIs, and the CERN and other particle colliders are taking up a lot of bandwidth away from being human in a sense, whatever, you could say whatever that means. So if that's the case, and that seems logical, and again, I'm not trying to shock anybody by thinking that you're in a simulation or whatever, but let's say that we are in fact in a simulated reality. The more that we're using our, these AI computers is draining the resources away from our regular environment. And now we're having things like two-headed sharks, and now we're having things like, errors occur because reality is being rewritten. And now we're having things like ends of songs, like I talked about Queensryche song. We're losing that. We lost the Queen song at the end. We lost that. Many songs, and now Led Zeppelin's kind of fading out, where it's basically almost disappeared on Stairway to Heaven. So we're having a lot of song endings that are disappearing. We're also having compressed files where we're losing when information's being rewritten. We're losing. I lost you for a second. So when we're losing this information, if we were in a movie, right? And I think some people are noticing things for a reason. A lot of us are noticing things because we're designated by the matrix or this computer to actually be the ones that are able to change things or lead people to understand and change things. So if that's the case, if we were in a movie, and some of us knows these things, then we'd be getting together and saying, we have to destroy CERN. We have to go destroy, the quantum D-wave computers. We have to destroy these so we could actually survive, so we don't have two-headed sharks and more monsters appearing. This theory that I have here lends itself to other things where we have an AI that I found out there's an AI that does. It's always computing about the human body, and now we have the human body changes, which would kind of make sense in a way. So reality's being rewritten and compressed, and we're having losses in it. But if you look up compression for AI, it all makes sense. Anyway, I thought I'd share a quick video with you. I'm trying to keep it under 12 minutes. Let me know what you think in the comments about this theory and about the Led Zeppelin change. And if my friends out there, again, if you want to take this video and splice it and do something with it where it lends itself to more people seeing what I'm talking about, that'd be great. All right, thanks so much. Like, subscribe, share. I love you all. All right, peace out.